Hi, everybody. Welcome to the She Asked podcast with Anna McBride. I'm so glad you're here in our first recorded episode. This is the podcast where we're going to be exploring the power of storytelling, how to rewrite our narratives and change our lives. I look forward to sharing with you stories from all walks of life, where people will be sharing about their hardships and how they made it through, offering what I describe as practical hope by offering us tools. We could all use some help in this life, I think. I'm really glad that you're here because I think that most of us don't really understand what the difference between the stories we tell ourselves and the lives we're living. They're virtually the same. And yet, if we can change the story, we can change our lives. We may not be able to change the circumstances, but we will change our attitudes about it, our perspectives about it, and therefore our overall experience of it. So, in this first episode, I want to tell you a little bit about me and where the idea for this podcast came from, and why I think it's really important that we begin to unpack the idea of storytelling because so many of us struggle to get ahead in life. And this is a method that I know will help you. So, a little bit about me. I am a person of many different experiences. I was a practicing therapist for a couple of decades. I also was a meditation and yoga studio owner. I was a personal chef and teacher of cooking. I am a mother of three adult children. I've lived in other countries, in different states, and I grew up in one of 11 children to two parents. One of them was an immigrant. And through all of these different experiences, I've learned that the story I was telling myself was either holding me back or helping me get to where I wanted to be. And actually, a couple years ago, as I was going through a divorce, I actually started writing a memoir. And it was in the process of writing that memoir that I learned that the story I was telling was not very positive. It wasn't helpful to my divorce experience, and it was actually keeping me stuck and unable to move on. And in the course of beginning that writing, I took some classes around storytelling, and I got introduced to a storytelling community here in New York City known as The Moth, and actually got up on stage and have done it now almost like over 40 times, where I share true stories from my life and in the process get to unpack a little bit about what got me into those situations, what got me through, and what was the lesson that I took from it, the growth. And from doing that over and over again and progressing in terms of my style of storytelling, I got to realize that I really understand now better than ever what it's like to author the story and what it's like to just be a character in it. And it's those two ingredients that have helped me to approach my life so that I can become unstuck from situations, grow through this experience, and also know what tools to reach for to help me if I should need help. And some of those tools might actually be other people. So the idea for this storytelling process came out of those experiences. And I can go back now and actually identify where I got stuck, what I could have done differently, and what I will do from now on whenever I feel that stuckedness, which does happen still. Yet now I know I don't have to stay there. I can move through there and I can move on forward, progressing towards where I really want to go. And I want to be able to share that with all of you so that you too can learn the power of the story that you're telling yourself, how you can rewrite it and then become the hero of your own story. So, over the course of these podcast episodes, I will not only be sharing with you the technique that I created, I will also be bringing to you guests that have incorporated this process into their own lives, people that I've get to meet and talk to and learn from, people who have struggled with certain things in their life, whether it's grief or divorce or aging as an athlete or coming from another country where they struggled there. There are many topics where this is really relevant. And I hope to be able to address all of these from the storytelling point of view. I also hope to connect with you, our listeners, and find what things really motivate you. Where do you feel stuck in your life? And then we can address that in future podcast episodes so that you too can put this process to work in your life and create the life that you want. Again, not focusing on the circumstances that you came from or the ones you find yourself in. It's all about you, your perspective, your attitude, and what tools you are using to help you move through and grow through what you're going through. So stay tuned. And if you like what you're listening to, please follow along and subscribe for more. So look forward to connect with you shortly in the future. And until then, be well.